Emily wiped the last few tables at the small diner in rural Texas. The neon sign outside buzzed and flickered, casting a pink glow across the empty parking lot. She sighed, hoping tonight would end quietly. Closing shifts were always lonely, but she preferred it that way. Peaceful and predictable. Suddenly, the diner door slammed open with a loud bang. Emily froze as she recognized the angry scowl of her ex-boyfriend, Jake. His dark eyes burned with rage, and his fists were clenched tightly. "We need to talk," he growled, advancing toward her. Fear surged through her, and she instinctively stepped back. Jake grabbed her wrist roughly, yanking her toward him. Emily winced, struggling against his strength. "Why did you leave me?" he demanded, his voice rising, full of anger and jealousy. Panic surged through her chest. She tried to pull away, her voice trembling. "Please, just let me go, Jake," she whispered. The diner's silence was shattered by the roar of motorcycles outside. The rumbling engines shook the windows, and a line of black leather bikes stopped abruptly near the entrance. Emily's eyes widened as she saw the bikers dismount, their faces partially hidden by helmets, their presence commanding and intimidating. Ryder, the gang leader, stepped forward first. His tall, muscular frame and leather jacket made him appear both dangerous and protective. His piercing eyes locked onto Jake. "That's enough," he said, his voice deep, steady, and commanding. The air seemed to thicken as the tension shifted, and Jake hesitated, surprised by the sudden arrival. Jake glared at Ryder but didn't make a move. The rest of the bikers flanked Ryder, forming a semicircle around him and Emily. Their motorcycles gleamed under the neon lights, and the rumble of engines acted like a warning. Emily felt her pulse slow slightly, comforted by their presence. Ryder stepped closer to Emily, motioning her to stand behind him. "You're safe now," he assured her, his voice calm yet firm. Emily felt a mixture of relief and awe. This was not the life she had expected, but she was grateful for these strangers who seemed ready to risk everything for her safety. Jake's hands trembled with anger as he backed toward the door. He spat on the floor and muttered threats under his breath. "This isn't over," he said, before storming out into the night. The bikers watched him leave, their eyes sharp and alert, making sure he wouldn't return. Emily sank into a chair, her hands still shaking. Ryder crouched slightly, his expression softening. "Are you okay?" he asked, genuine concern in his tone. Emily nodded, unable to speak. Words failed her, but her eyes expressed gratitude she couldn't put into sentences. Ryder offered a reassuring smile, and she felt a strange sense of security. The gang stayed for a few more minutes, making sure Jake didn't come back. Engines roared again as they mounted their bikes. Emily waved, watching them disappear into the night. Her heart still pounded, but a spark of courage and hope ignited within her. Tonight, she realized she wasn't completely alone. Emily's hands still shook as she stepped outside into the cool night air. The neon glow of the diner reflected off the wet pavement. The bikers stood around, engines idling. Ryder approached her, his leather jacket catching the dim streetlight. "Let's make sure he's gone for good," he said calmly, scanning the surroundings. The rumble of engines faded slightly, but the presence of the gang made Emily feel protected. She hesitated, unsure how to respond. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Ryder nodded, his eyes softening. "You don't need to thank me. Just stay safe." The weight of fear slowly lifted from her chest. Ryder motioned to the other bikers, who spread out, making sure the street was empty. Emily noticed their alertness, the way each one scanned the dark corners. Their protective nature was intimidating yet reassuring. She realized these were not reckless troublemakers. They were guardians in leather, watching over her when she had nowhere else to turn. Emily took a cautious step toward her car, her eyes darting toward the shadows. Ryder followed closely, his presence like a shield. She felt a strange mix of gratitude and awe. She had never imagined someone so intimidating could also be so kind, watching her back in a way no one else had. "Are you sure he's gone?" Emily asked, glancing over her shoulder. Ryder smiled faintly. "For now. But we'll keep an eye out. He won't bother you again." His confidence was contagious. Emily felt a sense of relief wash over her, a feeling she hadn't experienced in months. The bikers escorted her to the edge of the parking lot. Engines idled as they waited for her to start her car safely. Emily clutched her purse tightly, glancing at Ryder one last time. "I don't know how to thank you," she admitted, her voice quivering with emotion. Ryder simply shook his head. "Just take care of yourself," Ryder said, revving his motorcycle lightly. The sound echoed through the empty streets like a promise. Emily felt an unexpected warmth in her chest. For the first time in a long while, she felt safe and understood. She realized she had found unlikely allies in this dangerous world. Jake's shadow seemed smaller in her mind now. The memory of his threats faded as she started her car. Ryder and the gang stayed for a few moments longer, ensuring she drove away without fear. Their loyalty and protection had left a lasting impression, one she knew she could never forget. Emily waved as the motorcycles roared to life, disappearing into the night. Her heart pounded with a mix of excitement and relief. She realized her life had changed. She had been saved by strangers who had risked everything. The fear she once carried seemed lighter, replaced by hope and newfound courage. As she drove home, the cool night air filled her lungs. She replayed the events in her mind, feeling both terrified and grateful. Ryder and his gang were more than bikers. They were protectors, a force of unexpected kindness in a harsh world. Tonight, Emily had learned that safety sometimes comes from the most unexpected places.